me, my father was downstairs, and this bushel cocker
Is your
comes
mom
out,
here?
and my
Great.
father, they got into a big fight, and my father hit him with a hammer. And they took my father to court.
Oh, I didn't hear that story.
Oh yeah, they took him to court, and they threw it out because the neighbors always complained about the same man. So he had such a bad reputation that they didn't do anything to my
He
father.
deserved to be hit in the head.
He did, yeah. I think he punched him in the eye first, and then the other guy came at him with a hammer. I don't know, but it was one of those things. And then shortly after that, we moved out.
Wow.
But I remember
when we moved in, when we moved into the house on Petoskey, I understand that it was still farmland.
Oh
There were
yeah.
chickens and pigs and.
Well,
Right.
the streets weren't even paved. There was no. It wasn't paved, and we lived next door to some friends of people called the Barrel House. I don't know if you ever heard of the name Barrel House. And they had a family of 12 people, 12 kids. He was a kind of a rabbi, a chef, what they call. He used to
Kill chickens?
kill cows.
Oh,
He used to
cows.
slit the cows' throats. And he'd always bring home great big packs of liver, from the cows that they. Anyhow.
And remember,
We became very close.
And that's where chopped liver came from.
No, we were very close to that.
We were there at the very beginning.
We were very close to that family.
So
Because-
from 29th Street, then where did you move? Well, how long were you there for?
29th Street, we
Yeah.
were there for a few years. And then
So
we...
wait a minute. You were there, and Dorothy, you were there. Aunt Betty, were you born yet?
No.
Oh, okay, so this is
I was
before.
born on Petoskey.
Okay.
Aunt Betty and Aunt Helen were born in Petoskey. After we bought the house,
You were born in
that one house.
hospitals or you born at home?
I was born in home, Dorothy was born at home, and Helen Betty was born in the hospital.
In home.
And Uncle
Did you have
Al
help?
was born at home.
At home.
Did you have help? Was there like doctors or nurses or was this?
No, there was a doctor that
your
came
mother
to the
weighed 12 pounds.
Well, I remember Dorothy being born.
know
I
that?
was all 2 years and 9
Eva was
months
12
old.
pounds.
And my mother was in the bedroom.
You were
If
10
really want to know.
pounds.
My
I
mother was in the
remember. I
bedroom.
remember that.
And she was like, I could hear her make noises. And I walked into the room right after she was born. And I saw my mother lying on newspapers that were all bloody. And this baby was right alongside of her. And my father takes one look and he sees me and he says, "Never erase from here." Like, get her out of here, meaning me. And I remember being pushed out of there. But I saw the baby and I saw my mother. I saw her right after you were born.
Wow.
How about that, baby?
Never forgave her.
Newspapers?
On this
No,
paper.
no. Did
Do
you
remember
know?
what the newspaper said?
Eve, you
still
were
got
12
the print
pounds,
on my
right?
bag.
I
Eve?
mean,
Yeah,
bird cages. You put
I weighed
newspapers
12
in the bottom of
Hey,
bird
this
cages.
is important. You weighed 12
Oh, a lot of
pounds.
cotton batting, too.
How much did you weigh, Dorothy?
You said 10. I don't. How am I going
I think, wasn't she 10?
My mother had all big babies.
And I was 11 3/4.
And the smallest baby was Betty. She only weighed
I was about 7, wasn't
7 pounds, 13 ounces.
That's still a good size.
That's still a good size.
How heavy was Al?
Al was big. All
Al.
big babies. All big
Well,
babies.
the one they lost was what, 13 pounds?
15 pounds.
15 pounds.
God.
Couldn't be born. I mean, they crushed the head. I mean, it couldn't come out.
Wow. Okay, so from 29th Street then, where?
29th Street, that's when we...
What year was that when you left 29th Street? About what year was it?
I was about 11 years old.
You were born in.
I was 11 years old when we moved to Petoskey.
Okay. You were born in
1913.
So it was about
Yes.
1928
Something
or
like that. Yeah.
No.
1924.
I was born in 1925, and I'm 12 years
1924.
younger than Auntie.
Oh, that's all right, baby. That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I was just trying to pin down
No, I'm
the
just
fact
teasing. I'm
that
teasing.
you probably moved there in 1924. You're right.
1924.
Yeah.
And you were
23,
born.
24, because I was born in
And
25.
that's when you were born.
October 25.
And what was in? Do you remember what the neighborhood was like in Petoskey?
Yes, it was a lovely neighborhood. We had, see, it's like everybody knew everybody. We knew the people across the street. We knew the people next door. 3 doors down, 3 doors this way. We knew everybody on the block practically. And this is the part that I miss the most. nowadays, where you don't have that nowadays. Neighbors just don't, it just isn't the same. But we knew everybody on the block.
Who was the family across the street, like Winter? Or?
That was
Wittenberg.
Wittenberg.
And the Gittlemans.
The Gittlemans.
And the Bearhalls.
And the Driscolls. The Driscolls.
Yes.
The Bettmans.
Right. You remember.
I can remember names.
How was it growing up Jewish with the name Rood?
Oh, was it? It wasn't.
Was there any?
No, nobody.
No problems.
All they had to do was look at us and they knew.
So then, just describe, how long were you at Petoskey, on Petoskey?
Oh,
Long time.
Long, 21 years, is that?
Oh, I was 21 years.
well, if I moved there when I was 10,
20 years.
let's say 10, and I got married when I was 20, I was 25.
So about 15 years?
So I was 15, and then they stayed there after that,
after
too.
that. Okay.
So they were there when Sharon was born. They were still there.
I remember Petoskey, don't I?
Yeah.
Sharon was
Well, we
the...
moved out to
And
Petoskey.
Michael,
Sharon
and
Sharon
when
was
Michael was
drawer,
born,
dresser
it was,
drawer.
they were still
What year
there.
were you
Still there.
married?
49.
1949.
I was
And
married in
think-
38.
I think they moved from Petoskey not too long after you married because they built a house on steel.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to comment, gee, all these years when they had 5 children, we were raised in this small little 3-bedroom frame house. But after we were all married and out,
Then they go and build
they
a
built
brick
this
house.
beautiful brick house, twice the size,
Right.
for just the two of
people.
them.
Right.
That's what Grandma could afford to do.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
Right.
So when,
But so I'm just trying to give you a time
Yeah.
frame. So I think that possibly the family left Petoskey around 1951, 52. Do you think?
He never borrowed money, did he? He always
No.
paid cash. and
No,
said
he
to
was
himself,
a very
Yes.
proud man.
he
Very
would never
proud man.
borrow money for
Yes.
anything.
Right. Very proud.
David was financially a proud person, as we were saying, would never think to borrow money.
No.
If he
Wait a
didn't
minute.
have it, he would do without.
Didn't we live on Petoskey during the Depression in
Yes.
1933?
Yes.
what was that like?
That
Describe.
was real
That was
rough.
terrible.
Era.
We had to go on welfare for
They
a while.
lost all their money in the bank.
And my brother, your father, and my father had to work for the welfare department. WPA, they would call it then. Work on the roads.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes.
For how long? How long did
I understand. That was a couple years.
How old could Alan
They-
be?
in other words-
Al worked for the CCC.
Grandpa had money in the bank and the bank went under?
The bank went under, and he used to take all 5 of his children to the bank, say, "Look, I have 5 children, and you're not giving me any money to feed my family." And in the bank, I mean, they just couldn't do anything. They think they allowed him to take a little bit of money out. I'm not sure.
And it never was recovered?
No.
That money was never, that was before there was a
No.
guarantee,
No.
FDIC.
No.
I remember that when my father left to work in New York, I cried so hard that my mother took me, and I think I must have been maybe 4 or 5 years old, to the Piccadilly Theater, because that was my favorite place to go, and bought
Norman
me a,
used to go there, too.
and bought me a balloon and just rocked me and tried to get me to stop crying. To me, that was the most horrible thing, was when my father left to go to New York.
Is that right?
We were
Grandma was
about-
good with the children.
It
right?
was
She was very-
terrible.
She was very good with the children.
Grandma?
She was in
Yeah.
there with the family.
Yeah, she was
She was
a
there
very
whenever you
motherly
needed
mother. Yeah.
She stood up for you, and she was absolutely fight for you. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd scratch
Once,
your eyes
once
out.
my brother,
Oh, yes.
your father, had a fight with some boys in the backyard, and it looks like he was going to get beaten up pretty bad. And my mother came out with a kitchen knife and chased him away. Get away from my Al, she'd say. Get away from my Al. Get out of here,
My
everybody. And she'd
Abby,
wave
are
that
you
knife
kidding?
around.
My Abby.
what was his name?
Abby.
Did you hear this?
His real name,
His real name was
his real name
Abraham.
was Abby.
Abraham. His birth-
What was it
Babe
like?
Ruth. Babe Ruth.
What was it like for Al growing up with 4 sisters?
Oh, we got a story. Now it's getting. Now it's getting.
You know, it was a bathroom with 4 girls in the house, and he
And
was,
the
Well,
newspaper.
wait a minute. 7 people and 1 bathroom.
yeah.
I was in the bathroom once, and Alan wanted to get in. He was knocking on the door, and I said, "I'm not done yet." Knocked the door down.
And once, guess what else? We locked him out of the house because he was so angry with us, you know. We locked him out of the house, and I think I threw a can of tuna fish out the window at him. He was so angry. Oh, and I thought, I don't dare let him in now. I don't dare let him
How
in.
many times did you come home to Pinehurst and find me outside with Sharon locked me out? You remember that?
Oh, really?
Remember that?
No, I don't.
Dad, you remember that? No.
Mom's there.
She remembers.
Was Alan protective of you
Yes.
in school?
Yes.
Did you go to school at the same time?
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah.
He was protective.
He was very, and I was protective of him too,
with
because when he
dating.
got into a fight with some boys at school, and I was standing on the outside, and I, don't hit my L, don't hit my Avy. I know my Avy, don't hit my Avy. I didn't say don't hit my Avy. And then when we went to kindergarten, at the same time, and and they separated me from my brother because he was a little older than I was, but we were in the same class. And I kept saying, I want to be with my Avy. I can't be with them. Oh, I cried and cried. See, but while we were in the house, we fought. Once we were out of the house, we were very protective of each other. I used to go in the corner when I was a teenager and play, talk with the boys and the girls or whatever, and he would let me stay there. He says, go home, go home, go home. He just didn't want me hanging around with the kids out there.
When did he change his name, and why did he change his name from A to
Because he didn't like A.B., so he started calling
I think he
himself-
was picked on at school.
Yeah, A.B., A.B. They say
Oh.
A.B., 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 A.B. This is the good name. A.B., A.B., A.B.
So that was discrimination.
Of course. Of course.
Talk also more about growing up on Petoskey.
On Petoskey?
Yeah. What
Well,
was like? You said it was rough. What
It
kind
was rough. No, it was, to me, it was we had a wonderful, wonderful time because we had friends that were neighbors, like next door, Pauline Fairholt was my girlfriend, and we used to, and her sister used to work in the telephone company, and then the equipment that they didn't want to use anymore, like phones, headphones and things, she brought them home, and we would go in the basement and play telephone operator. So that was, we had good times with
What about
that.
four sisters sleeping in one bed?
Yeah,
No, three. Yes.
Excuse me, let's hear about the
Three.
days.
Even I used to have
Pretty bad.
something really upsetting happen. I have a habit of cracking my knuckles. She couldn't stand it. So she'd take the elastic from her pants or pajamas and snap it. Have a contest.
This is important. This is information.
Oh, and this is another one that, I never minded if she wore my clothes, but she would not let me wear anything of hers.
That's because yours weren't clean and hers were.
You're right.
That's what I had with Betty.
Once she
I would be scrubbing my knuckles off, getting my clothes.
So once she
starching
got
it
so
and
mad at
everything
me.
in
Oh, it was so
hours.
nice. It was so
She'd
nice
have
to
a
go to
date and
school.
she'd go take my
She
clothes.
had
and I
clean
would- She had a clean blouse. I would
So once I wore something of hers, and she got so mad at me that she took my my girdle and cut all the garters off. And I got so mad at her that I took a sweater of her and cut all the buttons off. That was something.
And
So
once,
Grandma was busy sewing.
when
all the
Helen,
time.
I'll
Everything
remember
back,
this.
trying to keep everybody.
I have fond memories of our backyard.
The cement mixer.
Grandpa was a mason contractor, as you know.
The cement mixer.
And he had all of his materials in the backyard. There was no such thing as a flower garden or grass.
No.
It was all planks.
Yeah, one of those
Like
cement
cement
mixers
mixers
back
and a
there.
cement, and a
And
cement
blocks.
mixer and piles of bricks.
And,
but you know what? My biggest pleasure was
I
we used to play hide and seek,
Oh.
and we would
Hi.
and we would
they're all here.
I would hide in the cement mixer when we were playing hide and seek. That was my favorite place to hide.